Yeah, where's Omar?
Omar is
Okay,
back.
he's back.
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Chai, with this, when I wait so.
Hello?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Dr. T, I can hear you. I can see you.
Good.
Yes, Dr. T, I can hear you and I can see you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the biggest debate of all times. Our two main contestants are Tres Catos of the US and Omar Bayen in the UK. We'll be discussing a series of issues ranging from the war in Cameroon, mostly focusing on solutions, as well as the upcoming presidential elections. I am your moderator and host, Terence Agbo. So the first question will be, I toast a con myself here. Unfortunately, I didn't show these guys, and Tres will be answering the first question. But we'll give our audience a few minutes to join because of the technical constraints we had in the last few minutes. If that is okay by you guys, is that okay by you guys?
That's fine.
Okay by me. Good. Also, I did not hear the presentation of the second host.
Oh. Terence, you're the only one I can hear. I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't hear Mbole. You're the only one I can hear.
Tres, can you speak?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was saying that you did an introduction of yourself. Unfortunately, I did not hear an introduction of the second moderator.
Yeah, my co-host here is Delphine Nane, who is in Munich, Germany.
Thank you. Omar, can you hear me now?
Omar, can you hear Tres or Delphine?
I can't hear them. I was talking to Delphine a few seconds ago before you came on, but now you're the only one I can hear.
Can you hear me, Omar?
So we are having some technical issues with one of our contestants. So please, audience, be patient a bit. Yeah, Dr. C, I can see that you are right there. Mabel as well. Tres, you know more on these things than I do.
Since I cannot see the back, the back end.
Okay. So I don't know. Omar is here.
Yeah, we see him. I can hear
you perfectly well, clearly.
I hear him too. Everybody hear him talk, right? The back end. I can hear myself echo.
Audience tell us if they can hear Omar, please. Can someone just say yes if they can hear Omar?
And I hear him too. Everybody hear him talk, right? The back end.
I really can't do much from my end.
And I hear him too. Everybody hear him talk, right? The back
end. Terence.
Yeah, I can't do more.
We are all on the B Live, right? The website you sent, the link you sent.
The audience are hearing you. Everyone else is hearing you. I'm surprised you can't hear everyone else.
I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't hear Mbole. I can only hear you.
Just can you try to speak a bit?
We are all on the B Live, right? The website you sent, the link you sent.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, everyone is there. You. I'm surprised you can't hear everyone else.
I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't hear Mbole. I can only hear you.
Just can you try to speak a bit?
We are all on the B Live, right? The website you sent, the link you sent.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, everyone is there. You. I'm surprised you can't hear everyone else.
I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't hear Mbole. I can only hear you.
Okay, I think Omar is having a network problem here. It looks like. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Delphine, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. But there's an echo.
Network problem here. It looks like.
I can hear you, Terence. For some reason, I can't hear the other two. I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't
Terence,
hear.
Can you log yourself out and then come back 1 second? Can you log out?
So I'm not sure if it's my network because I can hear you clearly. I can hear you, Terence. For some reason, I can't hear the other two. I can't hear Tres Catos. I can't
Terence,
hear.
Can you log yourself out and then come back 1 second? Can you log out?
So I'm not sure if it's my network because I can hear you clearly. I can hear you, Terence. For some reason, I can't hear the other two. I can't hear Trace Katos. I can't hear
Can you log yourself out and then come back 1 second? Can you log out?
If I log myself out, I'll end the broadcast, and that would mean we have to start everything from scratch.
Log yourself out and then come back 1 second. Can you log out?
Oh my goodness.
So we apologize for the technical difficulties. We're trying our possible best to get this.
Our audience, we sincerely apologize for the technical hitches we are experiencing. We will try to make it up to you guys in the next few minutes. Just bear in, with us, and we'll be back. In the meantime, you can keep on listening to the guys chit-chatting.
You're the only one I can talk to. I can't talk to Trace Katos or Delphine because I can't hear them.
I don't think I'll go side now because the audience here.
Well, the strange thing is that echo don't go, so the echo is no more. Omar, can you hear me now?
It only means this will be debate for you. Only through this be live. We know if you do for like for that Facebook stuff.
Let's just go to Facebook Live.
No, but Facebook Live didn't give us that option of
to bring everybody in
one on the same platform.
Two persons.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. And like sometimes you wouldn't be able to hear the other person on Facebook Live.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Let's try something. Yeah, Delphine, can you go out and let's see if Omar will be able to hear Trace.
Okay.
Yeah, just go out for a bit. Let's see. Yeah, since they are the two participants, that's fair. Omar will be able to hear.
Right, Trace, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Omar. Can you hear me? Omar cannot hear me. I don't think he can hear me. Omar, can you connect on a different? Omar, can you connect on? Do you have a different? Oh, he cannot hear me. Terence, ask him if he can connect on a different device, and then he will follow. He can.
Yeah.
And then he will follow up on a different device.
Yeah. Okay. That would be a bit difficult. I don't understand what you're saying. Because he's using
no. For example, right? I got Facebook Live, right? See, I got my Facebook Live going. I could hear the conversation on Facebook. I could hear Omar talk, and so is there any option where he can connect on Facebook on a different device and just listen there, but stay here?
Okay. Omar, can you try to connect? If you have another device, can you try to connect on Facebook Live? That way you will be able to hear us talk, and then you can speak here. I believe the audience can hear you.
Okay, let me try.
Just try to connect on Facebook Live on another device. If you have like a laptop or another phone, which is not possible, I believe, unless you have two phones.
I have just one phone. I'm not that rich.
Try to connect on the laptop.
He's not a document.
Okay, let me restart the laptop. Give me a few seconds.
Yeah, Uncle Charlie, I can hear you. She's not marginalized. We are just prioritizing.
Can she come
Who's
back?
Marginalizing who?
Yeah, Uncle Charlie Tamak says Delphine has been marginalized since we took her off.
Now, Grand Charlie Tamak.
Yes.
I'm blaming Elizabeth. Elizabeth did not pray for this network to work.
Yeah, maybe it's in the uproar. She didn't pray. She's been creating a lot of pungu these days.
Definitely hand wala heavy.
And we thank everybody.
I've started the laptop.
Omar cannot still hear us. Maybe Delphine joins. Because
let me
he's gonna follow on a different
I
just started the laptop now, so it will take a while.
Yeah. So Delphine will join, because even without Delphine, we can still Omar still can hear you, Trace.
And yeah. So he's gonna.
Can Trace hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can hear you fine.
He can hear you.
Wow.
But you need to hear him so that you can discuss extensive rebuttals on his solution.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's like definitely. Oh my goodness.
Okay, let me call Delphine so that he joins the platform. It will be very helpful. I mean,
I was talking to Tess. I was talking to Tess.
We have to make sure
before you join.
Okay, we have to make sure there is a lady there, otherwise we'll be accused of marginalizing women.
Females, right? So
Yeah.
Delphine, if you can come back, please.
No, let's just wait for Omar to join, and then when he connects to the live, if at least he could hear you, then that is the best we can do for now.
Because I was talking to Tess a few seconds ago before you joined.
Yeah, I spoke with Omar.
Because I was talking to Tess a few seconds ago before you joined.
Yeah, I spoke with Omar.
Okay, so since I can hear, I've reduced my own volume on my phone.
Okay, let's see how it goes. Yeah, when he tries this time. Yeah, please, audience, we sincerely apologize for the technical hitch. Terence Limona, it's not a debate for or against any country. We are looking for solutions. The debate is about solutions for the problems or the war in Cameroon. No one cares if anyone is against or for some country. So don't be obsessed with that concept or preconception.
Tell him to put forth a petition for the next debate. Applications would be accepted.
Oh, bro, the laptop not die. It'll take forever.
No, the audience are
let Omar not worry about the but he cannot hear.
No, but he can't hear you, so I don't know how.
That's true.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to say exactly what you said, or
I was
I
saying.
transmit your points to him.
Le grand débat, et nous ne sommes même pas jusqu'à 40 personnes déjà. You guys should share the page. Huh?
There'll be time for French. Take it easy with your French.
No, they're not sharing the page. They need to share.
Omar Achukisop says your mic is not working because you probably just shut it down.
Then how come I can hear you and you can hear me?
Check your mic on your phone.
Achukisop telling me he's a hater. If you can hear me, tell him I said he's a hater. And if he wants to debate me, if he wants to debate me, he can join so I can kick his ass as well.
Yeah, Uncle Mola Mukake, Delphine will be joining us very soon. So the moderators at least will be very gender balanced. We took that into consideration.
Can you believe that Omar is having technical difficulties in the UK? That's how you know that country is not bush.
Okay, Omar, someone suggested that maybe you restart your... But I don't think it's a device problem because we could hear you.
Yeah, he just
I'm actually on Facebook Live right now. Oh boy, I never do this Facebook Live before, so I don't know.
No, don't go to Facebook Live. Just go to the they major go for the page where we stream this stuff on.
Right,
okay, just go for the debate page where we stream this thing. You click for it.
I'm actually live at the moment.
You shouldn't be live, Omar.
Okay, but Tres, can you hear him? Okay.
I can hear Omar.
Oh, but Omar, can you hear Tres?
I still cannot hear him.
Oh, damn.
Okay, so he should go to the debate page, the page that is streaming right now.
Right,
where
listen,
everybody is
let me end this live video. Right, I can see Willie and Valerie Ndikum just joined. Right, yeah. I don't know if they can hear me.
No.
I'm not sure if they can hear me.
I think they can hear you. The thing is, they can hear you, but our main concern here is that you can't hear Tres. So anything.
Terence.
Yeah.
He's.
Then the problem is not me. Then the problem is Tres Katos.
Oh, see. He should. He's live.
Tell them mommy go buy better phone or buy better laptop, master.
He should go to the page
because
that
I see people here.
on.
I see OJ joined.
Okay, so what should he do?
He should go to the page that we're streaming this live feed on.
Willie joined, Valegenzi could join. I can see them.
When he goes live, people are coming to watch his live.
Just joined. I see them, and I'm sure they can hear me. If you can hear me, say something, guys.
No. He should not be there. He should not be live. He should not be streaming himself.
Yes, go buy a new phone or take a different phone.
Okay. So Tres, wait. Tell me what you want him to do, please.
See, we have a page that is the debate is streaming on, right? He should go there. He should go there like he wants to watch the debate, right? He has actually gone live. He's actually streaming himself live.
Okay, Omar. So this is what you should do. You will go to the debate page as if you are listening or watching the debate. Then you'll be able to hear whatever Tres says, and then you can respond. He hears you. He will hear you. Our concern is that our main concern is that you are not hearing him. So if you go to the debate page, whatever he says, you'll be able to hear from the live video.
All right, so I have to end this video, then go to the debate page, right?
Oh, you only have one device. Yeah, Tres, that's the problem.
No, he has a laptop.
I'm talking to you on my phone now, and I'm on live.
Okay. No. So you shouldn't end this debate. You stay here. You will hear the question from me, but you'll be listening from your laptop.
Okay. Which means you're asking me to end my live video on Facebook and go to the debate page, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
Big man. Is that what you want me to do?
Yes.
Yes. That's what Tres.
Right.
So if anything happens, I mean,
tell him that he should be on this page.
Okay, yes. Let me do that. Let me close this one and go to the debate page then. All right.
Okay.
Give me a few minutes. All right. Okay.
I can
It's
call
gonna
you.
be a long debate. It's gonna be a long debate. I mean, this basic stuff.
But that's fine. I'm talking to you. I can hear you, Terence.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let me end this one. Okay. Hold on, Elizabeth. I don't hear. Ma go whoop that boy as now so. Ça sera très très vite fait. Les
gars commencent déjà à faire les entrées, hein? Ok.
Ok.
and no say you did very you don't know no technology.
Guy that's zero.
Tres 14, I can hear you now. I can hear you now, Tres 14. I'll join the debate. I'll join the debate page now. I can hear you.
Okay, so thank you very, very much, everyone, for your patience. We very much appreciate that. And so we are about 30 minutes late into our scheduled debate, but we are going to start immediately. So, Tres and everyone on Oma, you and I know that there is a serious problem in Cameroon. Cameroonians are killing themselves because of a problem. I wouldn't want us to dwell much on the problem today, but more specifically for the solutions. Those would be the immediate solutions, the short-term solutions, and the long-term solutions. So, Tres, can you start by enumerating to us as well as explaining how would you approach the current problem in Cameroon, specifically the solutions? Yeah, definitely, right. Doreen.
All right. So I want to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank you, Dr. Terence Agbor, for hosting this debate. I also want to thank...
Is Tres talking?
Yes, he's talking.
Hey, I beg, tell me, hold on, please. Tell him to hold on.
Okay, Tres, can you hold on for a moment, please?
Okay, sure.
I really don't know what's going on here, but you don't freeze again.
Yeah, the UK people need to work on technology.
Okay, Tres 14, carry on, please. I'm sorry, apologies. For some reason, it keeps freezing, so I don't know why.
Okay. That's
Tres 14, go ahead if you can hear me, please.
I'll be able to understand the technical difficulties that you're undergoing right now. I was thanking Dr. Terence Agbor for hosting. And Omar, if you can mute the V Live. from your end, if you can mute it so we don't hear the feedback coming from the video you're watching. So just mute it so I can't hear the feedback.
So, Press, just before we start, you would have 5 minutes to talk. And then Omar will not respond first. He would also give his own solution. And then you people will be given some time to respond.
Yeah, I was just suggesting that because there's feedback coming from the other laptop, he can mute this live feed that we have right now. Can he mute this one so that the video he's watching does not come through?
Okay, he can hear you. So you probably do that.
So I was thanking you, Dr. Terence Abo, for hosting this live debate about the issues plaguing Cameroon, the country of our birth. Thank also Omar Bayen. It's known history about my back and forth with Omar over the years since the start of this conflict. You said we shouldn't dwell on the problems that we have already seen at length generate in the country. We should kind of focus on the short-term solution.
One of your device, maybe your phone.
This conflict. You said we should dwell on the problems that we have already seen at length generate in the country. We should kind of focus on the short-term solution.
One of your device, maybe your phone.
All right. So can I continue? Should we wait for Omar?
Yeah, just hold on for a moment.
Okay.
There is some noise in the background and no one is speaking. It's definitely not coming from my end.
Can I continue?
Who has a TV on? Just hold on for a moment.
Okay.
Okay, it sounds better. Who did what?
I think Omar muted one of his devices.
No, I think that was me. I think I was both on Facebook and Be Live. So
come on, Zezema.
All right, we want to welcome Delphine Nane, the other host from Germany. I know it's late in the night in Europe. Thank you all for staying up. And I was saying before, Omar, I hope he can join us shortly. The short term and immediate solution would be as they say in French, un cessez-le-feu, right? So the military needs to take a step back, and the Ambazonia guys, military needs to also take a step back. And we cannot have a resolution if bullets are still going across each other. The Amber boys are shooting at the military, and the military is shooting at literally everybody because the Ambazonia fighters don't have a uniform. So you cannot really identify who the Ambazonia fighters are. It could be anybody, anywhere. This is a civil war, but in the technical aspect of things, I don't see it as such because there is actually not, the fighting is not army versus defense force. It's kind of like ambush, right? So if the military is stationed somewhere, Ambazonia forces can ambush them and then kill a couple of them. If the Ambazonia guys are hiding in the bush, the military is going to go in there and ambush them. So it's ambush against ambush. And it's kind of like somebody's taking advantage of one person, another person is taking advantage of the other person. So the solution would be to cease fire, an immediate ceasefire. One of the best propositions that we have had in the last couple of weeks was that of Kadenatsumi that said, we need a national reconciliation dialogue. We need a dialogue that is going to put all parties together. We need to first have an AAC 3. So Anglophones are going to sit and have a conversation as to the path they want to chatter forward. Personally, I am a firm believer of self-determination, and Southern Cameroon has its well-founded history if they want to follow a path to self-determination. The issue here is you have a history of unity with East Cameroon. And I think that we can be better together because what is happening across Africa is boundaries are being broken. Boundaries are not being built. Walls are not being erected. We are breaking down walls to build. So we have the CIMAC zone trying to build a unit of all the CIMAC countries. We have the ECOWAS countries trying to build countries with the same like mind. So we should not be tearing apart. We should rather be building. So in spite of the fact that Ambazonia has, Southern Cameroon has a well-documented history if they want to seek self-determination, I think that we should be able to put our resources together, join with our brothers from East Cameroon, and create a country that is reflective of our heritage. So the short term, immediately, when President Biya returns from he's already back in the country. I think he was in the UN. He was supposed to be in New York for the UN General Assembly.
He's in Marwa today.
Okay, so he's supposed to return and then head to Marwa. One of the first things that I think he could have done, especially during this time of presidential election, was to say, okay, let's withdraw the military. Can the military fall back? And we enforce the gendarmes and the police. Because as you know, the military has not secured any village. The military has not guaranteed the return of schools nowhere in Southern Cameroon. So there's really no justification for a hard presence, an imposed presence of the military. So I say, fall back. Let the Amber Boys are not going to see any military to fight, right? And so then let the people in the public sphere, those the missionaries, the Christians like Cardinal Tumi, those in the political atmosphere like Agbobala and Dr. Munzos, people like that, to get together and charter a way forward. If the people of Southern Cameroon say we want, and when I mean the people of Southern Cameroon, I really want us to focus on the people who actually live this war on a day-to-day basis, not the diaspora for right now, but those on the ground should have a charter of their future. How do they want to see their future? They're the ones living there. They're the ones experiencing all of this stuff. I live in Chicago. I live in America. It's a safe country. It's a safe haven. I cannot make decisions for somebody who lives in Mancon. I cannot make decisions for somebody who lives in Mamfe to say independence is your only recourse. You know, I could propose that a federation will work best. I could propose, but I cannot make decisions for those on the ground. That's what I have to say for short and long term.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Okay, so we have a little problem with Omar. So what he did was he logged out of here and he can hear you in on Facebook Live. I'm going to ask him now to join here because the major problem is that he couldn't hear you. So I'll ask him now to join here and give us his own solutions. If that's okay with you guys, I'll give him a quick call to communicate that to him. Okay. All our audiences, ladies and gentlemen, please just be patient for a moment. Let me sort out these technical issues as a result of an home exit. Yeah, hello. Okay, so since you don't hear anything, we'll talk now. Join now, respond to give your own solution then. Ah, you see me? Yeah, but you hear and for Facebook Live, right? So join that same belief. I will ask you when immediately you join that same platform where we will be together, be communicate. Because now they fear. So join back. I will ask you. You respond because apparently when you there for the belief, you need the trace. But when you respond, when you don't join, when you respond. When you give your solutions, actually, I'll ask Trace me talk again. If you probably put off your belief again, listen. I mean, we'll give you that technical. Yes, yeah. I think I dealing at the best with that. Okay. So now that same link will be sent for you for inbox for your Facebook inbox. Just click there. They will notify me. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so please, we are waiting for Omar to join us again and also respond, give us his own short-term and long-term solutions. So I can briefly summarize what Tres has said, and I will have follow-up questions after Omar respond, because for him, the immediate ceasefire, the immediate solution should be a ceasefire by both the Ambazonians and the Cameroon military. And someone raised a point in some of the comments asking who should call for a ceasefire. So I'll ask that question later, not for now. And then I also mentioned about bringing about a national reconciliation. And he's also a firm believer of national determination, but believes that it will be proper or more appropriate for the English-speaking part of Cameroon, English-speaking part of Cameroon and the French-speaking part to form a better union. So that is what I gathered from what he said.
Exactly.
Thank you. Yeah, there will be a pidgin portion of the debate later, Willie. It's just that I can speak both pidgin and Ejakam. Oh shit! Sorry, guys.
Are we cursing?
Okay. Omar wants a link again, so I'll send it to him.
I'm just laughing at the comments. The comments are so hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm very sick, so I'm kind of a silent partner today.
Yeah, it's okay. I can speak for both of us.
Exactly.
We were being pressurized to have a female face, so we're happy to have you on. It's very important to show dynamism in the political atmosphere.
Definitely.
Yes, Abu Free, I heard that well. Not only Balai also mentioned the Munzus, Cardinal Tumi, but in the summary, I don't have to enlist all the names. So that's why I just mentioned that in national reconciliation.
And while we're on that national reconciliation part, can I add on that, or my time is up?
No. Let Omar respond, please.
Okay.
Yeah, we are lucky that we have a very patient audience, and I very much love their comments. Some of them are throwing in some very interesting questions, so we'll probably have a very good discussion.
Yeah. We should make notes of. We should make. Bola, if you get, Mrs. Bola, if you see some interesting questions in the comment section that comes up, definitely.
Yeah, I'm trying to put down.
Delvin Fona says when he asked you to step down, you said it's Caterpillar that's going to. Yeah, I don't know what is happening with Omar. I just sent him the link, and yeah. Delvin, can you try?
Eno says he can replace Omar.
Well, it's okay.
Okay, he's right.
If anyone can come in for Omar for the time being, then we should do that.
Right, I'm here. I'm sorry, guys. I really am sorry. I apologize for everything.
Okay, Omar, you probably heard everything that Tres said. You have 3 to 5 minutes to tell us what you think are the immediate solutions to the ongoing crisis in Cameroon, the immediate, the short-term, and then the long-term solutions.
Okay. Thank you very much, Terence Agbo. Tres 14, thank you very much for your input. I'll start by saying that I think your solutions were all over the place. Since you are talking on short-term and long-term solutions, Terence Agbo, I need to know if they can hear me.
Can
Can
you
you,
hear me?
can you have Omar now mute his Facebook, the
Omar, can
Facebook
you
video?
mute your Facebook?
I mean, I can hear him just fine, so he just needs to make.
Yeah, I think it's okay. You can go ahead. I don't want him to mute anything, and then we lose.
Yeah, because it echoes, so you really don't get
okay, I got it. Yeah.
Right.
Good. Omar, go ahead. We can. Yeah, I think it's much more better now.
Yeah.
I've done that.
Good. So go ahead.
So they can hear me, can they?
Yes, they can hear you. Everyone can hear you. Even Doping
Okay.
can hear you.
Thank you. So I was saying, 13, your short-term solutions and your long-term solutions are all over the place. The first thing that has to happen as far as short-term solutions are concerned is you have to de-radicalize everybody you radicalize in the first place. That's the first thing you need to do. And how do you de-radicalize people? You use the same medium you use in radicalizing them in the first place. I'll explain what I mean by the same medium. You use the communiques you use to call people dogs. You use Vision card, which you use to call people rats. You use that same medium to apologize to the people for calling them terrorists. Let the people know that you are sorry for calling them terrorists, for calling them rats and dogs. Tell the people you need them for the country to move forward. You need these people. Because at the moment, hate speech is one of the reasons why we find ourselves where we are right now. You have to de-radicalize people on both sides. Any hate speech from Chris Anu, for example, from the governor of the Southwest, for example, from Ernest Obama of Vision card, should be strongly condemned. Because the more you talk, you dehumanize people, what you do is you simply exacerbate the struggle. You provoke and incite more violence. So that's the first thing you need to do to de-radicalize the people. The second thing you need to do as a short-term solution is to release everybody you arrested. Because we cannot be talking of dialogue down the road and you have people in jail who are arrested for the same thing you plan or intend to dialogue in future. You have to release everybody unconditionally. Another short-term solution you need to do, you have to safeguard or you have to guarantee the safe return of every single refugee in Nigeria. If it means paying compensation to the internally displaced people, that's what you have to do. Unfortunately, you cannot bring back the dead. But you have to ensure the refugees in Nigeria have a reason to come back. Ensure their safe return. That's one of the short-term solutions. When you do that, only when you do that, then can we be talking of a ceasefire. And let me tell you a little bit about a ceasefire. I see a lot of people saying in the comment section that the government has to initiate a ceasefire. Not necessarily. That's true, yes. But I do not particularly agree that the government has to call for a ceasefire. This is how a ceasefire works. Anybody or group of persons who have an influence over a group of fighters can call for a ceasefire. So Field Marshal in Lebialem can call for a ceasefire. Ayabacho in Norway, who claims he's in charge of the ADF, he can call for a ceasefire. General Kosandai somewhere in Konye, or is it Konye? In Kupe Manengumba can call for it. Anybody who claims to have fighters on the ground can call for a ceasefire. Remember, the government does not have to call for a ceasefire because the government is the only, when I use government here, I use that in a singular term. The government is the only person that has a legitimate right to violence. And as a matter of fact, the government has a monopoly for violence and not the citizens. So the government does not have to call for a ceasefire when it feels or it believes that its territory is under attack. So anybody can call for a ceasefire. even though I believe I accept that the greater responsibility is on the government. So that's just to answer the question of somebody who talked about who should call for the ceasefire. Anybody who is in charge of a group of people can call for a ceasefire. So those are just short-term solutions. The long-term solutions, after you have this, remember, ceasefire does not mean disarmament. You can have a ceasefire, but then how do you disarm people? You can have a ceasefire today, and then tomorrow, you go back to people being armed. How do you disarm them? That's the real question, or that's the real problem.
Omar Bayan, you have 30 seconds more.
When we talk then, a long-term solution, okay, we have to go back to the federation, the federal system. That is the only way we can fix this problem. Go back to the federal system like it was. We have to address the root causes of this problem. It didn't start 2 years ago. It started when we changed from a federal system to a unitary system and to the Republic of Cameroon. We have to go back to that federal system. We have to have concrete and sincere constructive dialogue. But the difficulty with the dialogue is this. Who do you dialogue with at the moment? Do you dialogue with Sisiku? Do you dialogue with Pastor? Do you dialogue with Ayabacho? Do you dialogue with me personally? I have no faith in the leaders of Ambazonia. What is their mandate? You dialogue with them as who? Who are they? Who mandated them to be leaders of the people of 8 million Anglophones? So who do you dialogue with? Because at the moment, they are not even united in the first place. They are fighting every single day. And we cannot dialogue with Cameroon as well because the government, I believe the government is not a credible dialogue partner at the moment. You need an international body,
okay,
an observer.
Thank you very much. And I think you've done your 5 minutes for now. We'll have Tres will respond and then you can continue. I think you were making some very valid points there, but for time constraints and because Tres only had 5 minutes to speak, it's just appropriate that you also speak for 5 minutes.
That's fine, I get you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so you guys both did very well. You raised some valid points. Omar came swinging this time around, not just like an uncontrolled pendulum, but a well-controlled one. So Tres, you have 2 minutes to respond to Omar.
All right, so I'll use my 2 minutes judiciously. Omar kind of like talked about I had my short-term and long-term mixed up, but I was writing down all his points that he was making, and the first point on Omar's list is de-radicalization. So we have to de-radicalize. So we have to go to Vision Card and all of those channels that were insulting and everybody that is having hate speech, right? But I want to remind Omar that the first and most the sanctity of life is the most important thing that's happening right now in Cameroon. And that's the most important thing that we have to safeguard before we worry about hate speech. Because we cannot sacrifice life. If people are dying and we're worried about who is calling somebody rats, then I think we have misplaced priorities. So I think that the first thing that we need to put in place is ensure that there's no more loss of life. We've had so much loss of life. People see death now in Cameroon as a day-to-day normal thing. You walk out in Boya and in Bamenda and streets in Mampe and in Kumba, and there's just some dead body that was shot, and they just pick the person up, and that desensitizes the human being. It makes the person the person no longer values death. So when Omar comes on Facebook and says his most important priority is de-radicalization, it's to go back to those mediums. His second point was release everybody.
I think you said one of the short-term solutions.
He listed. Okay, Mr. Moderator. He listed them and I was writing them as he was listing, right? Okay. I'm not making, so okay. The first thing he said was de-radicalize, right? Which is very important, but I'm not gonna put it up there as my first priority because life is valuable than hate speech. I wanna make sure that people no longer die. And then once we have secured that environment, then we can go to reconciliation. In an environment of reconciliation, we could say, no longer, don't call your brother a rat. Don't call your brother a terrorist. Don't call your brother a radical. That for me, that's a step-by-step progress on how to manage and resolve this problem.
Okay, thank you very much, Tres. That was you are spot on. And Omar, do you have anything to say with respect to what Tres? Do you have any response to that?
Yes,
Tres 2 minutes each to respond to each other before the next question.
Yes, Tres is absolutely right when he talks of the sanctity of life. Now, what he omits to include right there, he wants to see people, he wants to see an end to the loss of lives. A lot of people have died and stuff. Remember, a few seconds ago, I said the government has the right to violence. The citizens do not. If you want to see an end to the senseless killings, Ambazonians, every single Ambazonian has to put down their weapons. There is no way the killings will stop unless Ambazonians put down their weapons. Now, I'm talking from the perspective of how the government views this thing right now. People are going to die if Ambazonians do not stop. If they don't put down their weapons, they're going to die. They'll continue dying.
Okay, thank you very much. So as a follow-up question, you guys listed or enumerated and explained to some extent some of the measures you take to save lives or solutions to the ongoing problem in Cameroon. So what are some possible policies or approaches you will take to this? I've heard your solutions, some of them very interesting, some of them very, very acceptable and can even start now. So what would be the policy? Remember, we have people who have been radicalized. We have a lot of people who have died. We have a lot of people who are in prison. We have a lot of military guys who have been shot. And we also have, and I know all of you guys are aware, we have a military whose only solution, whose only way of solving a problem is force. So what would be the approaches or strategies or maybe even policies that you could put in place to implement the solutions you have highlighted above previously?
Who takes this?
Omar, I will start with you because Trey spoke first.
Okay. Like I said, one of the things you need to put in place for this to stop, you have to demilitarize Southern Cameroon, if you like. But the only way you can demilitarize Southern Cameroon is if the government is satisfied that Ambazonians will stop fighting. There are no two ways about it. They have to put down their guns. Then the government can determine that, okay, it's now safe for us to move out of these regions. Any other thing is going to happen only after Ambazonians put down their guns. Secondly, you have to ensure the safe return of all refugees in Nigeria and internally displaced people. It's going to take forever to do that. So one other thing you need to consider.
Sorry for the interruption. Just as a follow-up to that, I think you mentioned that in your previous, in your first response, and then now you mention it again. And then, so I would like to ask a question that someone raised here, that, okay, you want a safe return of people back to Cameroon, wherever. So the question that was asked is, where are the people returning? Given that in so many places, houses have been burned, villages are all ravished. Where is the money going to come from? Remember, Cameroon is just a poor country. We don't have money to give anyone.
Oh, is that a question?
Yeah. So how would you approach that? How would you ensure that people return to Cameroon safely, given that there is no money to host them? We all know the country is poor.
That's not true. The country is not poor.
Okay.
That's not true. Cameroon is very rich. We see that every day. Just a couple of months ago, Basil Atanganakuna was caught in Nigeria. How much did he have carrying with him? How much did Biagio spend on 20th May for his 2 limousines? Where there is a will, there is a way. Okay, it's true. It's true that, yes, it's true that houses have been burned. The people have nowhere to go to. However, we have to start from somewhere. And where we have to start is to bring them back. They have to come back. People embezzle money in Cameroon every day, so you cannot be talking about Cameroon not having money. Bring them back. I saw some of the houses they burned. For example, in Kwakwa, it doesn't cost much to build those houses back. Get the communities involved, and they'll build those houses back. Where there is a will, the government can do that. Cameroon has money. Staying out there in Nigeria or staying in the bushes, you have to show good faith by telling the people that this is what we have to offer. We have accommodation ready for you. Come back. And they will come back. But that good faith, you have to show that good faith first. So don't talk about money. There's a lot of money in Cameroon, in excess.
Okay, thank you. I believe the audience can hear you and they will have their own opinion as to what you are saying. So, Trace, Omar, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. Because I interrupted you, so that's why I'm asking, just to make sure that you are okay. Trace, your turn. So what?
Yeah, I honestly,
policies that you think would be more appropriate, or things you can put in place?
Yeah, and I honestly don't think that Omar gets it. I honestly don't think that Omar got the question. I'm hoping that at some later time during the debate, he would be able to understand that question that you just asked. Strategies in place. Now, first off, Omar keeps talking about Ambazonians should put their weapons down. Ambazonians did not pick up weapons until when the government, the CPDM-led government, started shooting on Southern Cameroonians. So Southern Cameroonians see this war as a war of self-defense. They are defending themselves against a military that is out to kill them. On the 1st of October, when Southern Cameroonians went out to supposedly celebrate their independence, they were met with bullets. There were scores of people that were killed. So you cannot say me that I'm defending myself.
Sorry about that, but I have to interject here. Who gave them independence? I understand you get independence.
Like I said in quotes, right? I did not say they're supposedly celebrating their independence. Nobody, I'm saying in quotes. And irrespective of who gave them or who did not give them, you don't go shooting them. You understand? And I've said that if the government had not used violence on that day, nothing would have happened. We would not be here today. They should have just escorted everybody to their home after celebrating. You've had your 5 minutes of fame. Now go home. Nothing would have happened. We could have started. We could have had a dialogue after seeing that march of independence. But what did the government decide to do? They decided to open fire, and that was not the first time.
Excuse me, you and I know that will not happen anywhere. We have seen normal protests, not protests, even independence protests in the West.
Mr. Moderator, can you please finish so I can respond to what you just said there, please?
Okay.
So it's not the first time that it's not the first time that people in Cameroon celebrate. People in Southern Cameroon celebrate the 1st of October. But let me get back to the issue here. you cannot say the people who feel like they're oppressed should put down their weapons because they see the military as an oppressive force. So telling them to put down their weapon when they don't trust, and somewhere along the line, he mentioned good faith. So it's the responsibility of the government to lead, to show leadership, to take control, and not necessarily warfare, but to show good faith, like Omar said. And I agree with him when he says the government should take leadership. They should be at the forefront to resolve this problem. It's a political problem and it needs a political solution. So the ceasefire has to be on both sides. Amazonian defense forces are not going to put down their weapons if they don't feel like they can trust the military. And right up to this point, the military has not shown good faith that you can trust them. You understand? The people are scared of the military. That's why when the governor of Southwest says that you should return to your villages, irrespective of the fact that there are no houses, the houses have been burned down. Nobody can return because I am scared of the military's presence there. They might think I'm Amazonian and they're going to shoot me. So the most important is the ceasefire. Once we have a ceasefire, and he would be an expert on ceasefire, and I would take his word on it. But once we have a ceasefire, then every other solution can come out of that ceasefire. The government must show credible good faith. At this point, if the government has to solve the solution, it must show credibility. It must show good and undeniable faith.
Okay, thank you very much, Trey. So we will take.
Let me respond to that quickly, please. A few seconds only.
Omar, you will respond in the next few minutes. Let's just take a few questions from our audience. They've been very cooperative, so it's fair that we give them a chance. So Delphine has some questions that have been raised by the audience, and she will pose that to you guys.
Okay, I'll start with you, Tres 14, since you started answering the questions. So Gilbert asked, stop dreaming, 1314. No, I'm sorry. No way military will never be withdrawn. Eno Ayok Egba said the same thing. Nina asked, who has legitimacy to call a ceasefire on the Amber side? And Sankara asked, who among the two sides is in a position to call a ceasefire? And can the Amber boys do that?
So all right, so let me address the first question on the and exactly that's the problem. If the military cannot withdraw, and Omar said that you need to demilitarize the zone. People need to feel like we are not in a war zone anymore. Right now, the Northwest and Southwest is a war zone because of the heavy presence of the military. You can withdraw the military. You can reinforce with gendarmes and police to do traditional security in those areas. Now, if the government cannot do this, it is hard for the government to say Amazonians should put down their weapons when they know that the military has their guns focused at them. They kill their parents, they kill their brothers, and every brother, if I see my brother die, I'm gonna pick up his gun because I know I'm next. That's the psychology. And to solve that, you need to withdraw the military. The military cannot, the government cannot win a war against its people. It is never done. So Cameroon is not going to rewrite history. Cameroon is not going to do something new here. You understand? We have this tendency to think that we're not fighting a foreign enemy. In the north with Boko Haram, we're fighting a foreign enemy. We are fighting ourselves. Some of those army people that are shooting, they're shooting their cousins, they're shooting their brothers, they're shooting their sisters. So we are fighting ourselves. It's like you have a cancer cell fighting its own body. So that's exactly what is going on in Cameroon right now. So we need to have the military, the government needs to take its responsibility in a position of leadership and demilitarize that zone. Now, for the Amber side, if the Ambazonian forces, if the government does its part to demilitarize, take the military out of the zone, everybody should ask every Ambazonia, like he said, Choayaba, these are not people that have any credibility in my eyes, and I don't like to give them that kind of credibility. However, those people on the ground see them as their leaders. They should be also able to call on Ambazonian defense forces to put down their weapons, because if they do not, after the military of Cameroon has put down its own weapons, then they should be tried for crimes against humanity. They should be taken to The Hague. These guys are all also responsible for this war, as the Yaoundé government and the military is responsible. Nobody can say Joe Ayaba has some kind of immunity, Eric Tato has some kind of immunity. So if the military does its part as a leader, those people that are actually pretentiously leading Ambazonia should also able to tell their boys to put down their weapons. Then we can talk.
Okay, thank you, Tres 14. So Omar, you said we have to, one part of the short-term solution is to de-radicalize the people, release all arrested, and ensure safe return of all refugees. So a couple of questions were asked. Sankara asks, where them go stay? Okay, where will the refugees stay? The refugees coming from Nigeria. He also asks, why should any Amba call for ceasefire when they believe that they are merely defending themselves? Abu Free asks, who started the radicalization? Who was pushed? Who called for war on the people of Southern Cameroons? And Boo Elvis says, Omar, you need a media whip. And Agbo Gilbert, Omar, you are not serious. So what do you say to that?
Okay. When you come on social media, right? Everything you hear on social media is the government declared war on Southern Cameroonians. The government declared war on Southern Cameroonians, and everyone is running with that. Now, this is the thing. On the 30th of September 2017, I made a post on Facebook asking people not to raise the Ambazonian flag on the 1st of October 2017.
I remember that.
There is no country on earth called Ambazonia or Southern Cameroons. We are in 2018. The name of the country is still the Republic of Cameroon. Go and do some reading. If you raise a foreign flag in the two regions of Cameroon, Northwest and Southwest, that is a declaration of war. If you didn't know that, go and do some reading. Now you know. By raising that flag, you declared war against the state of Cameroon. We are not talking emotions here, we are talking facts. When Biya came back from Switzerland, what did he do? He read from a little tiny piece of paper at the airport saying he was going to crush Ambazonians. Did he do that before or after the Ambazonians raised their flag?
Way after.
He did that way after, right?
Right.
Yes.
On the 1st of October, when you raised that flag, Terence Abo, Mr. Moderator, you are a witness. I said, do not do it. Because if you do it, you will be killed. Then the government is justified to kill you. Because you are raising a flag in a sovereign country. You are declaring another country. You are declaring two parts of a country to be independent. That's what you did. And 13-14, you celebrated that day by eating roasted fish and bobolo and drinking a large bottle of Guinness. That is exactly what you did. And I told you that people are going to die. Mbole, you are a witness. What happened on the 2nd of October? People died. About 40 people died for doing that. Raising that flag was a declaration of war. So when you come to Facebook or come on social media and start claiming Biya declared war on you, that is factually not correct. You declared the war by raising that flag. He merely obliged you. That's all he did when he came back and read from that paper. What was the next question? The next question was, where would they return to?
Right. All the villages have been burned. Houses have been burned.
I believe I answered that question already.
Yeah, you
There's
did.
a lot of money. There's a lot of money.
And then someone
asked, how do you, what do you mean by Cameroon has a lot of money? I think that was Doreen Ajong.
Yeah, so Nina also asked the same question, that you might believe that there is a lot of money, but the money seems to be concentrated in the hands of a few. So most of the people who are being killed, those who are suffering, those who have been displaced, don't have access to that money. So how do you?
Yeah, but that's what we are saying. That is what we are saying.
That there is money when we don't see the money, the dilapidated way the way the country looks like doesn't show that there is money. So
right.
how can we?
Let me respond.
Money.
Was that question was from Nina, right?
Yes,
Let me respond to Nina. Yeah. The fact that you don't see the money doesn't mean the money is not there.
Yeah, but
not seeing the money
how do you get the money to the people? Because we know the money is centered on a few people. So how do you distribute this money?
That is where a government that has good faith a government that's willing and ready to solve this problem will find a way to distribute this money to the various people concerned. That's part of the solution we are talking about.
Yep.
You have to provide accommodation for these people. You have to release the money. If the money is concentrated in the hands of a few people, you need to release the money. It's as simple as that.
How do you make the government release this money? I think that's the problem. We all know it's fine to say theoretically the government should, but how do you make the government? I think that's where we're talking about actions taken. You know, what actions can the people take to make the government release this money? I think that's where we have to be focusing our energy on.
Right. I can assure you that continuing this fight will not make the government release the money.
So what could make the government release the money, in your own opinion or your own perception? What do you think? You must not answer that now. Maybe you can.
No, let me answer that. You know, when we talk of dialogue,
can I also find out what happened to the relief and emergency funds that was just raised a few months ago? They raised money specifically for this for the reconstruction of homes.
Okay, excuse me, guys. I think Omar is not a state of Cameroon, so he cannot tell you what happened with the money. So we are here to discuss about it, what we think could be the solutions. Whether the government is doing that or Ambazonia is going to cease fire tomorrow or the government will cease fire tomorrow, we don't know that. We think whatever you guys are proposing is what we can put forth for someone. If someone is listening, they might talk this. Like you and I, we are practically harmless. We can't say anything and the war stops tomorrow. So I would probably propose or suggest that we discuss what we think could be done, not necessarily because none of you here is a government. I also believe none of you here is a leader of Ambazonian nor an Ambazonian. But let's focus more on the solutions. We probably have 5 more minutes to go to to finish the first part of the debate, and then we'll go to the second part of the debate, which is the upcoming presidential elections. So, Delphine, did you have another question?
No, I think we can go on for now. Most of the questions have been answered already.
Okay. All right. So, thank you, guys. Omar, did you, Tres, were you the one who wanted to respond on something Omar mentioned?
No, that was Omar was trying to respond to something that I had said. So I'm hoping he has his 2 minutes of fame right now.
It's okay. Yeah, I wouldn't give you my opinion as to what I think what may have been done or what could have been done, or whether I agree or disagree with your solution. But you guys make some valid points. So you guys can grab your cups, drink some water while we move to the second part of the debate.
Can I just like 30 seconds respond to what I was going to respond a couple of minutes ago?
Okay, go ahead.
Right, Tres Catos said the people are scared of the military. You need to understand that the people are scared of Ambazonians as well. There's a lot of extortion going on at the moment. The people are scared of Ambazonians. There are people caught in the middle of this thing. The people are scared of the government and they are scared of Ambazonians. Let's not talk emotions. Listen.
So how is that a solution, if I may ask?
Now, what I'm trying to say is this. When he says the government is the leader, has to show good faith by calling for a ceasefire. I'm trying to make this guy understand that the government believes it's protecting its country, its national borders, its territory.
Okay, so
the citizens do not have a right to violence, but the government does.
I don't know if the Cameroonian citizen's life is less important than the sovereignty of a state. The reason why we have a state is because we have a people. Without a people, there is no state. There's a lot of empty lands across the world that there are no people there, and it's not a state because there's nobody there. So you cannot kill the people of your state to protect the land that they live in, right? So I think that you have it in reverse. The most important thing is to protect the people, not the sovereignty of the state. The sovereignty of the state is the people. right? So you cannot be killing the people that the integrity of the state is being threatened. You should protect. I asked you a direct question. Of all those villages burnt across Mamfe and all that stuff, which one has the military in a year and a half protected? We have kids going back to school. We have the villagers doing their regular businesses, going to their farms. Of all the villages that the military has gone through, which one have they guaranteed and ensured that Ambazonia Defense Forces can no longer come and be a threat to this village?
There are schools going on at the moment in Cameroon. There are schools going on. Schools are going on.
That's the answer to my question.
Okay, so I think Tres and Omar, I think the audience is listening to you guys. They have their opinion to what I'm reading their comments, so they have their opinions, and at the end of the debate, we'll probably have a brief moment to discuss. So we will move to the next part of the debate, which is the upcoming presidential elections. So the elections will be taking place on Sunday, the 7th of October. So I don't know, based on the topic of the debate, we will mostly be talking about the opposition and how the opposition can beat the government. So based on you guys, what can the Cameroon opposition do to beat, to win the government? Who is your ideal candidate? Or
Nobody.
Ideal candidate? What not only the opposition but also the citizens of the country?
None of the candidates can beat Biya. None. And let me tell you why. You are not running against a man. You are running against his machinery. You cannot beat Biya not because he's the best, but because every single vote you cast, it sits on the table of a CPDM member. You are going for elections, first of all. Elekam, every single member of Elekam is appointed by Biya. If you have a grievance with Elekam, you take it to the Supreme Court. Every single judge in the Supreme Court is appointed by Biya. If you're not happy with the decision of the Supreme Court, you take it to the Constitutional Council. Every single member is appointed by Biya. We saw Clement Atangana dancing and celebrating the day was appointed to the Constitutional Council. You cannot beat that machine. It is impossible. Even if you form a coalition, you cannot form a coalition in September and beat Biya in October. It doesn't work like that. For a coalition to work, it takes years to build that, sensitize the people, do your groundwork, and then run for elections. If you form a coalition today, what platform are you running on? Let's look at the candidates. Let's look at Maurice Kamto. Until 2 years ago, he worked for the government. That man cannot even convince his wife.
Actually,
he can't even convince his wife.
I would say that he worked for. He left the government more than 2 years ago.
Okay, 4, 3,
about 5, I should say. I think.
Okay, about 5.
Yeah, about 5.
The president has been in power. The president has been in power for 36 years.
Yeah, I agree. He worked for the government like every other Cameroonian worked for the government before the opposition started in 1990. So I don't think you should hold anyone working for the government. It is a right of every Cameroonian to work for the government.
Terence, I think that's a rebuttal.
If you let me finish,
Okay, sir.
Can you let me finish?
Go ahead.
Yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
It goes to the credibility of the man. The problem is not that he worked for the government. The problem is his credibility.
Okay.
Kamto speaks from every corner of his mouth. That man cannot convince his own wife to support him. She's a staunch and strong member of the CPDM. That man is the reason why we have this terrorism law in Cameroon now, and he was paid 14 billion for that. CFA, fact. Right up to 2011 or 12, Paul Biya, according to Maurice Kamto, was the best thing that ever happened to Cameroon. The only reason Kamto formed the MRC today is because he was kicked out of the government. I cannot trust that kind of a man. Joshua Osi has no power base. Forget about the fact that he's SDF or whatever. He has to build his own power base. He doesn't have it. The SDF is not what it used to be. He does not have that power base. Akere Muna did not have a party until a couple of months ago when it was endorsed by these other people. Cabral Libi of Univer, well, word on the street, I'm not going to debate word on the street, is that Cabral Libi, his Univer party is actually owned by a CPDM member. Cabral Libi is the only one who has taken 15 million francs CFA from the government for campaign money. The other candidates refused to take the money. He took it. Okay, fair enough. There's money allocated for the candidates. But no candidate can beat Biya at the moment because the electoral process in Cameroon, the system is a sham. It's a joke. To have credible, that's why I have a lot of respect for Kawala, for example. Kawala said, I cannot go in for elections when people are dying in the Northwest and Southwest regions. I cannot go in for elections when we already know the outcome. It's guaranteed Biya is going to win. The only way to get rid of Biya is for people to go out on the streets, like what happened in Burkina Faso, like what happened in Zimbabwe eventually, with the army turning against Mugabe. Okay. But Anglophones, only Anglophones cannot do that.
You have 1 more minute.
You need the Francophones as well. You need about 40% of people in Douala, about 50% of people in Yaoundé for Biya to go. You can fight from now. Anglophones can fight from now to the end of chance. Biya is not going anywhere.
Okay.
But as far as elections in Cameroon are concerned, forget about it. That's why I don't blame people who refuse to vote at all.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. Tres, before you tell us what you think about the opposition, I would like to mention here and thank our sponsors for today, which are our AfriStyle. So this is a sample of what I obtained today from AfriStyle for sponsoring, and the winner of this debate will get an AfriStyle t-shirt and $100. That doesn't mean I will be unfair. Okay, I think we lost the thing there. She should be joining soon. Okay, so Tres, it's your turn.
All right, so thank you again for that opportunity. I think Omar is so out of touch. When he was talking, I was sitting out here just about to shed tears because first of all, it's an insult to the Cameroonian people to say nobody can beat Biya. We understand the machinery, the corrupt machinery that is the Biya and CPDM system. But Yahya Jammeh was in the same position not too long ago in the Gambia. He thought that he had a system in place that would favor him. But the people of the Gambia rose up. The people of Cameroon can rise up. The people of Cameroon, there's 6.7 million votes, irrespective of the pictures we saw on social media not too long ago of faulty math that Elecam had displayed. The people of Cameroon should understand that it is their responsibility to vote and monitor their vote. They should not leave the voting polls until the last person has voted, and they should be all part of the process. We cannot have a system that the people vote and go home. Of course, it's easy to cheat, but you must be engaged. You must be involved. So we should give credit. We should encourage the Cameroonian citizen to vote, as opposed to tell them that don't go and vote because Biya has already won. That is the implication of that statement. That because when you tell a Cameroonian, don't go and vote because Biya has already won, you have taken their electoral process away. You have taken that civic duty away. And they don't understand at that point the importance of them being responsible in the development of their own country. So now let's go back to the candidates that are there. Like you said, and that's why I was telling you that that's a rebuttal. Everybody in Cameroon born when Biya was present is part of the CPDM, unless the people born after 92. Because everybody came from the CPDM to form the SDF, and the rest of the other parties that are out there. So everybody has been at one point, all of the candidates except Cabral Libi that we don't know and we cannot say until facts. They have been trying to smear the guy. First of all, he was a CPDM member. Then he is part of a cult, and now the party is owned by a. So all of those things could fall under a smear campaign. My issue is this: Kamto has put out a good plan. He has an impressive plan for the development of that country. Whether he was part of the CPDM, whether he wrote that horrible, horrendous terrorism bill, I'm still willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because we need change. We need change. There's a populist movement in Cameroon, and people might say Cabral Libi is part of, but he has a populist uprising. The youth are following Cabral Libi. I saw one of his campaigns in the middle of the night in some village somewhere in the southern region, and they were packed. Not the one even in the Idea. That tells you that Cabral Libi is your populist candidate, and Cameroonians are rising up. Whether the opposition is divided or united, the important thing is that Cameroonians are beginning to rise up. And we should not defeat that movement. We should encourage it. We should encourage more Cameroonians to get involved. We should encourage more Cameroonians. Whether Biya wins in this election or he does not win, we want to see Cameroonians engage. Because guess what? The next elections are parliamentary elections. And we want to carry this momentum from the presidential election into the parliamentary election. That one we can beat Biya. And then when we go into the assembly, we can start changing laws. We can create a system of presidential elections at 2 terms. So we have a primary and then we have the actual election. So we can, yes, we can concede to the fact that we might lose, the opposition might lose the presidential election because like Omar said, it's well into the elections. I have still not given faith because I want to believe somewhere the Cameroonian can rise up to the occasion. However, if that does not happen, I want us to take this momentum into the legislative elections and win those elections and kick out those old CPDM people who have been there for too long. And then the opposition owns the assembly. If we own the assembly, we start to change the laws. Biya is a president that has never heard the word no in 36 years in Cameroon. That should not happen in a country that has separate institutions. So the opposition should look at this way. We have won the popular vote in the fact that the population is rising. They should be able to change that message that even if we don't win, maybe not now, but after the election, even if we don't win, let's look at a bigger picture. Now we know Cabral Libi. Whether he took the 15,000, the guy started from the grassroots. Everybody gave him 200 francs, 500 francs. That is what we want to see. That is the Cameroonian that's the Cameroon I'm looking for. So I am very passionate. I am very caught up in this election because it's the Cameroon that I am happy for. A Cameroon that the average mommy in the village is sending 200 francs, is sending Macra to Cabral Libi because she doesn't have money, because she believes that he is going to change. But change is not free. Change is not handed to you because you look pretty like the host, co-host Bole, or like you look well dressed like you look well dressed like my debate partner here, Omar. That's not how change comes. Change comes because you fight. You fight against an oppressive system. You fight against a regime. That regime is working for them. So they're not going to give it to you.
You have 1 more minute.
They're not going to give it to you. So we need to stop talking about form a coalition. Biya is going to win. That's pessimistic talk. We need to talk about bringing the Cameroonian people together. We can beat this machine. We can beat this engine. It's running on its last amount of gas, and we need to run it out of gas. We need to encourage. I think that guys like Serge Espoir Matomba, guys like Akere Muna, guys like Osing should either pick a team at this point. They can either pick Cabral or they can pick Kamto. It could be one of those two because those are the ones having the force, the momentum in that country right now. Now, the other two, Gaga, who is a role model for my opponent here, Gaga Haman and Damjoya that we have not seen, they're all CPDM. They're all CPD employees. Those are CPDM hardcore, so they're not part of the opposition. So Osing has no momentum. He should not be running because he thinks he has an SDF mandate. He should say, you know what, let's pick a team for the betterment of this country. I could align with Kamto. I could align with Cabral. and then we go into this election, we tell all the SDF members, please turn in your vote and vote Kamto. That is how I see a coalition at this point.
Okay, thank you very much, Tres. So to you, you think Kamto is the ideal candidate. And so I have a follow-up question for that. So, and when I ask the question about the upcoming elections, I ask it for a particular reason. And that is because I think there is war going on in Cameroon. Is it even legitimate for election to take place in a country at war? That is the first question. And then the second question is, if you think Kamto is your ideal candidate, of course, I wouldn't refuse that. But one of my concerns or issues with Kamto is there is war going on in your country. For next month, or let me say in like 35 days time, it will be approximately 24 months, but you haven't visited this restive part of your country. What kind of a candidate is that? And then I've listened to some debates and discussions, people asking Kamto what he would do about the Anglophone problem. But the gentleman and the man of law response has always been like, we will sort that out after the elections. Why would you think Cameroonians should trust such a man?
So, point of correction, I did not say Kamto is my ideal camp. I said Kamto is one of the top, him and Cabral. That's why I listed both of them. Cabral has like a populist movement right now. The youths are energized behind Cabral. Kamto has a kind of like a strategized a team, well-structured team in place, like a campaign running to win. And that's why I like Kamto's team. It's well-structured, well-organized. And you can see some few big wings from CPDM transferring onto Kamto, or SDM moving onto MRC, right? You can see that move happening. My issue is this. In Cameroon, in the election, the political candidates are not granted security. Bia is in Marwa right now. There's a security fanfare that protects him. If he gets to go to Bamenda Oboya, he's going to have the whole Cameroon military to protect him, so he can make a move in there. The minister of defense was shot when he was in the southwest region. This is the minister of defense. He came under heavy fire. Kamto has no security. What guarantee is there that if he goes to campaign in those regions, he would have the protection from being shot either which ways from the military?
No, I'm not talking about campaign until 1 year after the Anglophone problem or the crisis in Anglophone. No military shot anyone, neither did any Ambazonian kill anyone. So that was between October 2016 till around November or October 2017. If Kamto was a legitimate candidate, someone who thinks of his people, and even Cabral only went to Buea after Bala was released.
Cabral has been to Batibo.
No, that was, yeah, but okay, I agree. But Cabral only went to Buea after Bala was released. So that was like approximately 9 months. So that's okay. At least he's gone there. I've seen Akere Muna go right to Kembong, and recent as yesterday, he was in Limbe. So
I don't think that candidates should use the crisis for political, because I think that's what the CPDM is. Myself and Omar have disagreed on this. I don't think that you should go to the southwest or northwest to then show credibility that I was there and then now I can talk about this region. You should be able to, you can come up with solutions. You could sympathize, but because you're a presidential candidate, you shouldn't use that as a photo op opportunity. You shouldn't just go there because you need to come now and show, because Cabral talks about Batibo. I was in Batibo, I came under immense fire. It shows credibility, but I think it kind of sounds like a photo op. He's using it as an opportunity to add strength and momentum to his campaign, like the CPDM is doing. This war is an entire war to run because they don't have an agenda to run on. The CPDM has no agenda. They cannot run on their last 7 years. So they can say we have a war situation in Cameroon, and the only candidate that can safeguard the country is your candidate Bia, because he has to ensure the sovereignty of the state. That's their run, that's their hidden agenda, that's their campaign message. Now, that Kamto did not specifically go to the southwest or northwest region. You could ding that on him. No candidate is perfect, right? I don't think that we want a perfect angel that's gonna come govern us. You understand? We want a man that can look into his face. We see flaws, but because we're never gonna have a perfect. Politicians are not perfect, so we cannot ask for perfect candidates. There's no way we can see somebody and say, "This is Cabral." We're saying now that Cabral is part of the CPM. What if he is? What if he isn't? It means he's not perfect because we don't know. But we need to be able to trust in the process. The most important thing is the trust in the process. The people that are going to vote. In a country that 14 to 15 million people are eligible to vote, we have only 6.7 million people registered. That's a problem. That's a problem that we should look at.
Thank you very much, Trey. So Omar said he doesn't believe in elections in the first place, and Bia will definitely win, which is the thought of many people as well. So I have a question for Omar then, because I already asked you the follow-up question when you responded to the the opposition. So Omar, what would you say is a way forward for Cameroon and Cameroonians, given that Bia is going to stay in power based on you? It means that Bia is still going to, based on his, he was in Marwa today, and he said after 17 October, he's going to crush down everyone, or he used the word, the liberators in the southwest and northwest in Cameroon. So what would be a way forward? How can we get Bia out of Cameroon?
Thank you. Terence, listen, unfortunately, my brother Tres has a very pedestrian and simplistic view of how elections happen in Cameroon. The other day, Cabral Libi was in Cité-Sicam. I grew up in Cité-Sicam. If you clap your hands like this 3 times, everybody in Cité-Sicam is going to come out. If you go to Marché Central and tell people that there's a girl at one point, they do, naked, walking the streets, people are going to come out. How many of these people have voters cards? How many of these people are actually registered to vote for Cabral on that day? Those people you saw there at Cité-Sicam, how many of them will be voting? That's the first thing. Now listen, Camto, now you can hear for what Tres Catos said, he is a Camto believer. Because Camto, according to him, is a visionary, has a vision for the country. On paper, it's all well and good. Anybody who has a little bit of sense can come up with a program on how to govern Cameroon. It will not happen unless the electoral code is changed, the electoral process is changed. Let me give you an example.
Who will change it?
In French, they say, hold on, let me finish. Be gracious not to interrupt me. In French, we say, les élections au Cameroun. Il n'y a pas d'élection au Cameroun à 2 tours, which means a candidate running for presidential elections can win with 5% of the votes. Just 5 or 10% of the votes. If Bia wins in the north of Cameroon, which he will win, automatically he's going to win the elections. He will win the elections. You cannot beat that machine. That's what, listen, you can come out, right? You can come out and vote as much as you want. But trust me, every single vote you vote, it's going to sit on the CPDM members table first. You can bring your family, your kids, your cousins, and everybody. The only way Bia is leaving power is through a popular revolt. And when I talk of a popular revolt, I'm not talking of the war in Southern Cameroon, none of that. We are the minority. It's not enough for Bia to leave. The people have to. There's this program going on social media called Le Chassement. Have you heard of it?
What program?
Le Chassement. There's a program going on social media, which Francophones are spearheading on social media, Le Chassement, sending Bia out of the country by force, because going to the ballot box is impossible. Omar Bongo, the late president of Gabon, once said, you have to be a fool to organize elections and then lose.
Unless Laurent Gbagbo.
Laurent Gbagbo did not lose the elections. We can argue on that. He did not lose it.
Diouf. Abdul Diouf.
Laurent Gbagbo did not lose the elections. Laurent Gbagbo was simply scandalized that you go, for example, you go to Limbe and 100 people registered. Then when the elections are read out, 100,000 people voted for Ouattara. He was like, no, it's not possible because we know only 100 people voted there. Only 100 people registered there. So where did you get these figures from?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying, that Laurent Gbagbo was organizer of the elections, and even though
he lost, he was stupid, yes. And according to Omar Bongo, he was stupid.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Biya and Omar Bongo are cut from the same cloth. You cannot organize elections and lose it. Biya has already been invited to France. Biya has told you today in Mara that on the 7th or after the elections, he's going to crush the liberators of Southern Cameroons. What does that tell you? What exactly does that mean? He's running to lose? With that machine behind him, it's not happening. It will not happen. He's going to win. And I'll remind you, on the evening of the 7th of October, he's going to win.
Okay,
because that process cannot be trusted.
So what you are saying is Biya can...
What I'm saying is the only way to get rid of Biya, from the question he asked me, is a popular revolt. And that has to include Francophones as well.
Okay, so Kawala came up with this brilliant idea. So that's just an addition with this brilliant idea. And one of the reasons she gave why she wasn't taking part in the current election is that she believes, like you mentioned, you highlighted that Cameroon is one of those countries that you can win an election with just 100,000 people because there's no second round of election. So
yes,
yeah, in terms of policy, because like I asked about strategies, approaches, and also policies. So in terms of policy, would that be a better approach to if all the opposition leaders come together and say, instead of going to a one round of election, we should go for 2 rounds of election? Would that be able to take Biya apart from the revolt? Because my understanding, and when I was growing up, I was always taught to have an alternative approach. So one of your approaches is that the popular revolt by everyone. Like I said, yeah, it mostly by French-speaking Cameroonian, because that's when someone will listen, otherwise they will be shot. So would that be another approach you will look at that, or what do you think of that?
Yes, that's a very interesting point. Yes, the opposition has to, yes, they have to come out guns blazing that, okay, the electoral code has to be changed. If you do not have 50% and above, we automatically go to a second round. And you know what happens with second round elections? The opposition then comes together and they now throw their weight behind one candidate. That's what usually happens. So that's something they have to look into. And it doesn't start in October or it doesn't start in September. You start the groundwork. Say, for example, Biya wins the elections next month. He'll be running for 7 years. His term will last for 7 years. That's when you actually start. You start opposing him then. You start putting that groundwork then. You don't start a couple of months or a year before and you expect to beat that machinery that's been in place for 36 years. It simply doesn't make any sense. It's not logical. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
And even if you're talking of a coalition, you have to build that coalition for a very long time. We saw what happened in 2004, the very first coalition that Cameroon ever had. What happened in 2004? Nijon of the SDF, he pulled out the SDF from the coalition. Why? Because to him, it made no sense that he has the power base. His SDF is the biggest opposition party, and then they have primaries. Then Issa Chiroma, who comes from nowhere, wins the primaries and runs against Biya. Fundi pulled out the coalition. And what happened? He was right for pulling them out, because when the results of the elections were read out, he came second. And where was the coalition? Nowhere to be found. So you have to put in that groundwork first, sensitize the people for a very long time.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have a...
Can I say something to that effect?
Yes, please.
Sure. And to this is why I'm saying that, right? You cannot undermine the movement that is going on. Whether you can clap right now and people in Omar's former neighborhood come out, that should be encouraged. Like I said, you need to ask who is going to change these laws. BR writes everything by decree. To change that, you need an assembly that's going to tell him no. So we need to change the structure of the assembly. We need to change the parliamentary structure so that you could have an opposition that will tell BR no. The opposition is able to make laws for the countries. So to make Omar's dreams come true, the opposition, if they lose on the 7th of October, they should carry this momentum to the parliamentary elections so that they can change that structure, make an elections with primaries or 2 rounds so that, yes, we need a president with a mandate. We cannot have a president who has 0 mandate trying to govern a country. And that's why we have the cacophony that we have right now, because the president has no mandate.
Okay, guys, we'll have a short break and we'll be right back.
Is it a commercial break?
Yeah, it's a brief musical break.
You say, I know you heard the video was saying you share YouTuber, you supporter. You say, for Israel, don't give me that good tell where you be hitting yet. Because you've been getting Mamakabo since year. And I don't go back that more union for that affair for constitution for constitution. You don't profit for a mate for you send a bit from outside. I go Bolon Jonga for 3 years. I'm a machine and I'm for Sede. No, you must see service a pop for you don't share, you don't prove it, and now you must support her. For now, supporter, you must stay hard. You tell me this because conformément à la ticket system for Charter International des droits de l'homme for Nations Unies, and according to motion de soutien and appel du peuple pour accomplir le nom de me, I go speak fire against all the kids. I say, now tsunami has been declared for this earth. I get to the for I know they give Congle. I don't damage because for me as a this too. Not be Langata again. Now for them, maybe I'm direct. And I need a pay for me. De toute façon, I will not prêter serment from for year by year. Say, I will do my done. Camarades combattants plus Yahweh. Maître d'ami Augustin. À lutte continue. Every Sunday. Every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Can you hear me, Terence?
Yes, I can hear you. I believe everyone can hear you. I muted you. I muted everyone. Okay, guys. I had a few questions from the audience. I'm very, very grateful for all the time you guys spent here. We spent more time than we expected. I thought we were going to spend just an hour, but because we started a bit late, we spent a little more than an hour. So I very much appreciate all your input. You guys raised some very solid points. I will discuss with my co-host and we will get back to you. In the meantime, I very much thank the audience as well. Thank you for all your questions. Unfortunately, we couldn't ask all your questions. We'll see maybe in the future. This is the first time you are hosting this kind, you're organizing this kind of a discussion or a debate. We'll see whether in future if we are able to do this. It was supposed to be an academic and educational exercise, and so it was. Both parties respected each other, and I very much appreciate and thank them for that. And to the audience, thank you so much. It is time for item 11. And Delphine, do you have anything to say before we end our discussion tonight?
Well, it's really been amazing. It's been great. Thank you. There was just one question that I would have loved to ask both of them. That came from the audience, and I think
you can do that if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's a very good closing question.
Okay.
And it was asked by Ayok Rimi. It says, what advice can you give to Anglophone Cameroonians on the election day, considering the crisis? Is it advisable to go out and exercise your rights and maybe get killed? So what do you two say about that? Just closing remarks, please.
Who's going first?
Omar, you go on.
Omar, go first.
Right. I don't think with the war going on in Cameroon, it's my belief that any elections in the first place loses any legitimacy in my eyes. People are dying every day. And take note, these guys did not even go to these areas to campaign. Because for some reason, there's a war going on, there's a crisis going on. Being a leader is knowing how to manage a crisis. You want to be president of Cameroon and you cannot visit these two areas because there's a war going on. Nobody cares. Go out there and campaign. You're going to be president of those Anglophones. Go out there and talk to them. Put your life at risk as well. Go in there and see exactly what's going on. If they cannot do that, the elections in my eyes loses any legitimacy. It makes no sense to have these elections when people have died, people are dying, people are scared of going there. So you're campaigning to be president of Cameroon, which includes the Anglophone regions, and you end in Douala. You're having rallies in Douala. Hundreds of people are converging to these rallies, and then we should all clap. Yeah, Cabral is doing something great. You have not talked to the Anglophone people. You've not told them what exactly you have to offer. Camto has not been clear on the Anglophone crisis. He doesn't even discuss federalism in the first place, which is one of the reasons or one of the solutions that's going to end this problem. So that's a non-starter to me already. If they cannot go to these areas and talk to the people, it makes no sense to me. The elections loses any legitimacy in the first place. And obviously, like I said earlier, the electoral process itself, the code itself, the machinery behind BIA is just a total, complete waste of time.
Would you have any words?
So in other words, Anglophones in the English-speaking region should not go out to vote?
They shouldn't vote.
Okay, thank you.
Any word for the audience, because that is your closing remark. After Tres speaks, we'll just end the debate. So would you have anything to tell the audience today, Omar?
Oh, was that for me? Sorry?
Yes, yeah. Would you have anything to tell the audience as a closing remark for all their time they spent listening to the intelligent debate you guys had?
All right. Yes, guys, thank you very much for tuning in and for your questions and for your patience. I hope this serves as Tres Catos and I are friends. We are very good friends. We disagree every now and then, so we decided to come online and have a live debate, have some fun. So I hope this serves as a learning process to people engaged in the struggle. If you disagree with somebody, they do not automatically become blacklegs and traitors. We can have a difference in opinion and still keep it civil and respectful. So all that language about you being a traitor because you do not agree with somebody, we need to stop that. So Tres Catos, you're still a lizard, but you're my boy. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Omar. I think that's before Tres speak, that's a take-home message. We can disagree, but we don't have to be enemies. Neither should anyone be calling each other a black leg or a traitor. Okay, so Tres, can you respond to Delphine's question? I mean, a question coming
Right. So
from
before I do, I will do the opposite. I would thank the audience for being. It's been very interactive. There's been a lot of questions that have been posted on the comment section. I wish we had the time to touch on all of those questions because you could see how engaging the participants have been. I want to thank the moderators. I want to thank Dr. Terrence, and I want to thank Bole Delphine. You guys did an amazing job moderating the debate. I want to thank my friend and Chelsea Agama Lizard also. Chelsea had a draw today. I want to thank him because we've been going back and forth, and Terrence was like, "You guys keep going back and forth. You're constantly at each other's neck. I need for you guys to have a civil conversation." And so we decided to create this forum, and I hope we could piggyback on this and have other debates with other people to touch about the issue. That tells everybody that we love Cameroon from different parts of our hearts. Nobody owns a monopoly of love for Cameroon. Whether we live in America, in London, in Canada, in Germany, we each love this country that we were born in. And you cannot tell me that because I live someplace else, I don't love Cameroon. Or like Omar said, if I don't agree with your stance on Ambazonia or your stance on La République, then I'm automatically a black leg either which ways. We're looking for peace. We're looking for consensus. The best thing that can happen to Cameroon is we identify this problem, we see it as a problem, and then we look for a solution. The best thing that you do is once there's a problem, you come up with a solution, a befitting solution. The problem is never going to come back again. So the question is, should the people in the Northwest and Southwest region go out to vote? Because security is a concern in those regions, I cannot encourage anybody to risk their lives to go out there and vote. However, that, as much as it pains me to say this, if the people of the Northwest and Southwest do not vote, it gives credibility to their cause that they're not part of the larger Cameroon. And again, it comes down to the point that the government does not have foresight. The CPDM regime does not have a vision. They could not anticipate that excluding the two regions is actually giving credibility to them that they do not belong to the other 8. Because I could say we did not participate in your election. Of course, you have nothing else to say because we didn't elect your president. So it means we are not part of you. And this is a government that does not understand problem solving. They have never, ever, in my 36 years of seeing this man as president, they have never solved a problem. So I don't see them. That's why he can go to Marawa today and say he will crush them, because he does not look for solution. He thinks crushing people is a solution to the problem. But what I need to tell Mr. Bia, if he ever has the opportunity to watch this, it's a direct message for me to him. You cannot crush an ideology. You cannot kill an ideology. The children of the people you kill are going to stand up against you, and their children's children are going to stand up against you. You need to re-educate the people who have this crazy ideology. And it comes back to Omar's point of the de-radicalization.
Thank you very, very much, Tres. So we very much appreciate your input, and thank you so much to all our audience. Thank you, Krista, for pounding the fufu, and Mabel for cooking the eru. We also thank Eli for her prayer and all her meditations, as well as all her criticisms before the debate. We welcome all suggestions, and we look forward to having you here, hopefully in future, if we so decide and if people are interested. I'll be very willing to moderate if time permits. And Delphine, do you have can you give us a closing remark, please?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. It's been really, really entertaining and educative as well. And I really like the civility between our two debaters, so we can always agree to disagree. So thank you. And the commentaries below, go back and read them. They are hilarious, they're educative, they are provocative, you know. So thank you all so much, and hopefully we'll see you. I saw a comment, Goom is saying that we need a follow-up after the elections, so maybe we might do another debate after the results of the election. So thank you guys. Have a good night. If you enjoy,
Can I just say quickly? If Terence Limona is listening, I had a message earlier on today that he would like to debate as well at some point. So if he's interested, Terence, if you're listening, Limona, that is, you can always.
He was here making a lot of comments, so I believe he is listening. Or even if he's not listening, I'm sure the message will be transmitted to him.
And Chulayon as well. And everybody wants to debate, so we can do that.
Says she wants to be. A lot of people. So we'll take note of all that.
Terence is here. He just commented, so I believe he heard what you are saying.
Limona versus Njume Franklin.
Okay, guys. Good night and thank you so much.
Good night.
Love you guys.
How are we gonna know the results of who won?
Good night.
Yeah, they will be communicated under the link on the website on the Facebook page.
Okay, sure thing.
Yeah, bye bye.
Thank you, Omar. Thank you, Delphine. Thank you,
All right,
Terence.
thank you.